And the next risk we want to talk about, Ford, is sequence of returns risk. And this really goes into timing risk as well, because you don't know what the market's going to do in those last few years before you retire and those first few years of retirement. And the performance of your investments during that time is critical to your success and your financial success during retirement as a whole. So if your retirement funds take a big hit, or if the market experiences a downturn in that early part of your retirement, it will have a significant effect on your portfolio. Just as an example, if you lose 20% in any given year, you're going to need a 25% gain, a 25% recovery to even get back to even. To make matters worse, let's say if it was a 50% loss, if you experienced a 50% loss on an investment, you would actually need a 100% gain to get back to even. And that's what sequence of returns risk looks like. And it has a serious effect. I mean, just imagine anybody who retired, right before things went down in 2020 or 2022, or even think back to 2008 and 2009. Those retirees that retired right around then faced a serious challenge.
Yeah. I mean, losing from March 08 to March 09, the S&P 500 lost 50.1% of its value. So therefore they had to have 100% growth to come back. So, let's follow what Warren Buffett says is, 2 rules of investing, which is number 1 is just don't lose the money. And number 2 is don't forget rule number 1. So let's do everything we can to hold on to our money and let's understand sequence of returns risk. One of the great ways to really watch and reduce your sequence of returns risk is to invest in a fixed index annuity that never retreats. It never loses your principal, and also allows you to lock in your gains every 1 to 2 to 3 years, depending on how long the protection period is. Most of the products that we work with clients on are fixed index annuities that have a 2-year protection period, and therefore they're going to lock in your principal and your gains each 2-year period, and you can't go back. So if you get a 20% growth on 500,000, you're at 600 grand. You're after the end of year 2, guess what? You're still at 600,000. If the market goes back down another 10%, you're still at 600,000. So I think that's something to really consider. And also it's a great way to make sure that you're getting a higher income rate than the typical 4% rate. Go ahead with the next one there, Sam.
Yeah. And just quickly, what that looks like if you're driving around listening to us on the radio show or listening to the podcast this weekend, instead of an investment performance that looks like a EKG with the ups and the downs, and when you're looking at that stock performance over time, how that looks, you end up seeing with the fixed indexed annuity that we put a lot of our prospects and clients into, it ends up looking like stair steps with those 2-year protection periods. You take any growth credited after 2 years and it goes up, and that's your new floor. So people enjoy seeing things move in a steady trajectory and knowing that they're placing that protective floor on their portfolio.